morning dear students. Welcome to online video classes. Today we are going to study history and civics, and in history the chapter we are going to study is chapter 2, early nationalist movements. In this video class we will cover these topics: meaning of nationalism, age of revolution, American Revolution, Stamp Act, and Boston Tea Party. Let's start with meaning of nationalism. As you know, the name of the chapter is Early Nationalist Movement. In 18th century, when India was struggling through the British rule and fighting through their rules, in that time, in 18th century, world was facing some changes, some revolutionary changes. Especially Europe and America was facing some challenges and facing some changes, such as American Civil War, French Revolution, American Revolution. In this chapter, we will study about these revolutions. Before understanding about this chapter, we should know what is the meaning of nationalism. Nationalism is a type of thought where the people from a same group, following the same culture, same race, and having a same thought, will try to make their own independent country. Or you can say nationalism is a type of thought where you think that your country is more important or more good than other countries. You have some feeling of proud about your nation, that your country is more important and you can say much better or is the best country. And in other ways you can say nationalism, a feeling, you can say that it is a feeling of patriotism also. So in normal language we can say nationalism is a type of thought where we have pride and you can say pride and other type of spirit which invoke us regarding our nation. Now we will study about age of revolution. Revolution means a type of change, a drastic change in the society, in social way, economical, and you can say in the world related to exploration. 18th century was totally, you can say, known as a revolution period, a period of revolution because of its change. We have faced American Civil War, French Revolution, and other revolution also in that period. It is only the 18th and 19th century and the period of revolution where Americans had started their way towards democracy. They have started opposing. They had started their opposition or opposing way against the colonialism. So it is the only period of revolution which had started the way towards the constitution and say no to dictatorship, or from this period we had started the government system, that a government will run according to the written constitution. Now we will study about the American Revolution. American Revolution was considered as a political revolution, and in the starting, in the post 1776, America was totally divided into two parts, North and South. North and South were having their so many differences, especially economical, where North was totally industrialized based. So other side, South was totally based on labor-based agriculture on slaves, and for that work, Britishers were bringing slaves from the Africa, and the main reason for Europeans to migrate to America, there are so many reasons, such as their religious point of view, their religious practices. They were thinking a new lifestyle and new hope for the better future. And most probably, as you know, that exploration of new lands. So this is the real reason that Europeans started moving towards the America. In the starting period, they had settled their 13 colonies. Means Britishers and Europeans have settled their 13 colonies in Europe, in North America. Wherever, when they have settled there themselves, they had started imposing taxes on Americans, and there were no participations of any Americans in the British Parliament. Their rules and taxes were very strict and you can say oppressive, and the British Parliament was the same, dealing the Americans in the same oppressive way. So they had by the you can say by the influence of their American philosopher, such as Rousseau, Voltaire, and some others also, Americans started thinking about their independence. Now we will study about Stamp Act. Stamp Act 1765. When we will go through the lines, we will find that 1775 to 1783 is a period which is mentioned in the book, but from 1765 to 1783, it is the American Revolution period, which is given in your book. 1775 to 1783, it is American Revolution War. So there is a difference between it. That when you will take it in a deep study, when you will go through the lines in your book, it will be 1775 to 1783. But it is the American Revolution War period. But when we will go through the history properly, we will find that it has started from 1765 to 1783. It is the American Revolution period. So this is American Revolution War period, and this includes American Revolution. So now we will study about Stamp Act. In the year 1765, British government had come with a new rule, Stamp Act. British Parliament had passed Stamp Act in 1765 for the British colonies in America. It was the direct rule, or you can say they had imposed direct tax on their British colonies in America. All the documents were necessary to be printed and issued an affixation on the stamp paper of Great Britain, and which had their revenue system and tax system. So American had not only opposed this tax system or Stamp Act, not only with this slogan, no taxation without representation, but they have boycotted they had also boycotted the British goods. They had forced to the British Parliament to take back this rule known as Stamp Act, because whatever the magazine, papers and other printed documents or business related documents were there, Britishers were forcing Americans to publish or print all these things on stamp papers of which belongs to the British Parliament, and they were imposing on each document some taxes. So American had opposed it with the slogan, no taxation without representation. No taxation till they will not get their representation in the British Parliament. Now we will study about the main incident of American Revolution known as Boston Tea Party. Now we will study about the Boston Tea Party. You can say philosophers like Voltaire, Rousseau, John Locke inspired Americans to fight for their liberty. And you can say that main incident against British or anti-British movement from the settlers was against the Tea Act, because tea merchants were feared that according to Tea Act, Britishers will get the monopoly into the tea business, and it can include afterwards that monopoly will go towards the other products, that they had only their way or chance to do the business of tea in America. So they were totally oppressed and feared with this Tea Act. So one night in 1773, a group of settlers disguised themselves as Red Indians raided on one ship of Britishers which was full of tea assignment. They raided it and they had thrown 342 crates of Britishers into the sea. After this incident, they had got their chance to oppose, or this incident was considered as the first rebellion act against the Britishers from the Americans. They had the representative of British colonies. They talked to the British ruler of that time, George III, to stop this oppressive British rule and tax. And this incident in the history, as we know that it has taken place as the hostility relation between Americans and the Britishers. So Boston Tea Party was the first rebellion activity or act from the Americans against the Britishers. We have covered meaning of nationalism, the topic of age of revolution, American Revolution, Stamp Act and Boston Tea Party. In our next video class, we will start with the independence of independence of America, outcome of American Civil War, causes of American Civil War, French Revolution, and about Napoleon. Till then, have a nice day and thank you.